So now we're going to get to the big one. This is the big one Netflix has released. It looks like A Quiet Place, but vision-based. Where, Holly, you saw this, so did your aunt and uncle. We're going to let you go first, and then they can respond. What did you think of The Bird Box on Netflix, Holly, starring Sandra Bullock?
Sandy Bullock, as most of us who know her call her. Oh. And Johnny Malkovich. You know?
I just didn't like it that much. I thought it, like, moved kind of slow. Like, I know it would go, like, flashback, like, back and forth. Mm-hmm. But I just thought it was kind of slow at
The
points.
timeline was all over the place.
Yeah.
All over the place, Steve. I mean, it was... She started out trying to save her and these kids. Then they flash forward to when the outbreak or when the situation began. Then they fast forwarded to the kids were grown before she started on the... I mean, the timeline was all over the place.
Yeah.
So
everyone loved it, though.
What was the monster?
See, here's the thing. So the question you just asked never gets answered.
So it's God.
Like, you get what the monster does, but they don't ever
They
actually
never
show you the
address
monster.
it. There's too many questions.
Tell you why
is
it's
that?
there.
You think it's because of the budget? Or you think
I think it's because they're going to want to get trilogy or something out of this. Because I don't think it's done. They fleshed out enough with the character stuff to make it seem like they could add a lot more into this world that is the Bird Box world. I think Netflix is looking at it. If you can get, I believe Sandy Bullock, as we call, or whatever. No, I'm just joking. But isn't she an Oscar winner? Didn't she win for The Blind Side?
Yeah.
So you have an Oscar-winning actress in a series. I feel like they're going to milk this, is what I think is going to happen. Plus, it's got such a buzz around it. Yeah. Everyone's watching it.
It's gotten 45 million users to watch it.
Yeah, like 45 million accounts have checked it out. But my frustration is there's so many questions asked. The way I kind of, and I talked to Heather about this at length last night and this morning, it's like The Walking Dead and Quiet Place had a baby. So like there's the group dynamic in the one when the outbreak initially happens, there's like a group dynamic that takes place, and then they break away. The two that just left in the car.
Yeah.
I was like, where are they going?
No,
how do you drive in a car where you can't
so
see?
they use the
blacked out the
GPS
windows,
and black out the windows.
I did like the fact that they addressed the fact that they were driving over bodies, like when they were driving over.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I think it could be a lot better, but like people that are acting like this is the best thing to ever hit Netflix is kind of.
Have we read? Because I read reviews when it first came out, when it first hit. Because I'm going to sound like my English teacher, book douche, but it is a book. It's written by a Detroit author. So I read reviews to see if I wanted to watch it, and all the reviews were actually bad. And then, so I put it off, but Netflix just pushes it in your face. So are people giving it good reviews or just people watching it?
Is it just people are consuming it because it's all over Netflix? I don't know.
You can't turn on Netflix without it being in your face.
And
we
it's
have
all
a younger
over,
teenager
It's all
in
over
the room.
social media, everywhere.
So do all your friends talk about it?
Memes are all over the place
And are
about
they
it, too.
loving it? Or are they all about it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Are they about it?
Because I've seen the
What's
memes as
term?
well, but it's never like Bird Box is amazing. It's just memes making
42
fun of
hours
Bird
on the
Box.
river and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They also, so here's the thing too, like the birds freak out when these things are like coming near. They never explain it. They never do. So birds freak out, but why? You're
Is it
left.
like when there's a tsunami, it's just, and then a tsunami and animals know and they start going up the hill.
But they have other animals and they don't talk about it. It's weird. Like I don't
why
know.
the birds? Like what is it that sets the
Because
birds
then
off?
she gets at the end to like, and I'm going to spoil it. At the end, she gets to a blind person, so you guys can learn sign. Well, that's deaf, not blind. But anyway, she gets to like a sanctuary where like the school for the blind is, and they've got birds just everywhere. So it's a thing in this universe, but like, why explain it? Just have it. It's weird. I don't know.
Now, Holly, they say if you see the light, you hear a voice.
Yeah,
You're
like,
drawn to it, like in a
there was
weird
like,
way.
and then you'd hear like a voice, and it would try to like call you to like just look
and people would just like walk out in traffic
and kill
just,
themselves.
So then there was like a weird angle too, because then there's like these psychotic people who don't get affected by it.
Yeah, and they try to make other people just look at the light.
Yeah, and there's the best person in the movie, and you guys can correct me if is John Malkovich.
Yeah,
John
he was a
Malkovich
good
is out
character.
cold.
Who's that?
John Malkovich is the
the
bald
old
guy.
guy, the old bald guy.
Who's like, don't let anyone in. Screw everyone.
He was
Let's
the only
live
smart
in
one,
Yeah.
and then they locked him outside.
Exactly. I don't know. So
So
are
kept
they
the crazy guy in.
I know.
Are they trying to insinuate the light is God? And you're
they're
hearing
not
God? No?
because it affects the environment. So like the light, like
The wind,
the wind
picks up,
and like the
yeah.
leaves and stuff, it affects the environment as well.
So
there's
is the light
something-
separate from the sun? So there's a sun.
They're not staring directly at the sun, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
But it's some other thing they're staring
I
at.
mean, I was doing a Harry Potter puzzle while I was watching it, so I don't know how closely I watched, but I don't ever remember them actually seeing a light. They talk about the light. And
They
all that
just
stuff,
look like her sister, for example.
but they
looks
just
out the front.
stare. Yeah, they just stare at something that you don't see.
I don't know, man.
I can't lie. I laughed at the part where her sister went crazy. When she just stood in front of the dump
Where she
truck
just
and
looked
got
at her
ran
and stepped
over.
in.
I was like, I started losing it.
So let's go around the room. Holly, out of 10, what are you going to give that?
I didn't like it, like a 4.
Okay.
I give it a 6. I mean, it's
Yeah.
intriguing, but I just feel like it doesn't explain enough.
Well, and-
it's
and I
too
guess
many open
that
ends. You
would
can
be
have
my
open
thing,
ends,
too.
but you can't have that many.
So, like, I'd give it probably like closer to a 7 because now I want to know. It's like Lost and all.
Yeah.
Like, what's the answers at this point? Like, so if they came out with Bird Box 2, are you going to watch it?
I mean, yeah.
If her friends do.
You'd have to watch it. I mean,
You need to
because
know.
everyone
I mean,
else would
it's-
watch it too.
I would say it's going to put this dude's book sales like through the roof because now I want to read the
You
book
wanna
to see if
hope-
the book is going to explain more.
So one of the frustrating point aside from my 7, real quick before we pivot off to this, but they just fast forward 5 years in the timeline. So they have when the outbreak starts happening, Sandra Bullock is reluctantly pregnant. She didn't want to be pregnant, but she's reluctantly pregnant, and so her and then another person that makes it into the house with them gives birth. Then they just zip forward 5 years. So then the kids are like 5 by the time she's on the river rowing. Yet they look the same. So you've been living 5 years in this universe where you can't use your eyes outside of your house. They're not better at walking around not using their eyes. None of them are well versed in anything. These kids, so the whole time these kids have grown up for 5 years. They've never gotten. They should be so adept at using every other sense other than their eyes.
They
It
should all be like mini daredevils.
That's what I'm saying. It's just there's a lot of questions, but I need to know answers. I need a sequel.
You
Just for
seem to
that
be the
reason.
only one that cares. Everyone else is like,
Yeah, I
She
mean,
like didn't want her kids. It seemed like. I mean,
called
she
them
named them
boy
boy
and
and girl.
Boy and girl, yeah.
To me, the whole premise sound like, hey, that Quiet Place did pretty good at the theater. We need something like that.
I thought Quiet Place was a phenomenal.
Let's
movie.
find something.
I loved it.
What's the
I
other
really
one we
like-
can
I
do?
like
Oh, yeah,
it.
they can't look at things instead of not hearing things. Let's do that. They can't
Well,
speak.
not being able to smell isn't that compelling.
Yeah, but the eyesight, that's what it felt like to me. But I guess
Yeah.
if it's based on a book, it's based on a book. There you go.
Maybe
not
you
very.
guys will think differently after your sensory deprivation chamber tomorrow.
Yes.
Oh man!
You'll
After I
have a
start
little bit
screaming.
more
But I'll
insight.
probably know how to do things more than those kids after 5 years.